Hello, you fucks. Welcome to John Solo's Beer Brigade. I'm John Solo. You are not, and this is a Storytime episode. We vaguely refer to it as being a fly on the wall in a recording session. I try to do these for each of my indie projects that I work on, an independent author. This one is, I can't say enough. This is a Leta Blake book. Leta is, in my opinion, one of the finest authors in the romance category at this point. She's so fucking good. I don't get to work for her as much as I would like, but every time I do, it's a dream. She's so good. She actually she was one of my very first clients years ago with Smoky Mountain Dreams. Anyways, I digress. This is great. Anyways, this is called Free Fall. It's going to be book one in a duology, two-book series. And well, you don't need to know a whole lot. I think you can pick up the gist of this. Honestly, I don't know when this book is coming out. I think Leta is planning on putting out book one and two either at the same time or very close to back. She's already got book two done. She's already sent it over to me. I'm working on it this month. I'm excited. Let me clear my throat. So, one of the main characters, he is had a hookup with another character named Dan. This is following this first main character around as he wakes up. He's about to go to work. He runs into Dan at work, and they talk about kind of their plans moving forward. It's wonderful. Enjoy. Have fun. I love you all. See ya. Chapter 8. Sejin. Leanie and the kids have crashed my place of business. And normally, I'm fine with that, but I've been stressed out the last 2 days for a plethora of reasons. First, my dad never texted back, which kind of hurts a little more as each day goes by. Why doesn't he at least reply with, "I miss you too," or something innocuous like, "Things are good here, son, hope you're fine." I miss when my mom was so excited for my every adventure. "Send pictures," she'd demand, and then respond enthusiastically to each one I did. "Those clouds are beautiful," she replied once to a photo of me in front of a dingy hotel sign, sent as proof. She replied once to a photo of me in front of a dingy hotel sign, sent as proof both that I was alive and of where I was staying for the night. I hadn't even noticed the clouds. Dad couldn't seem more disinterested in my life if he tried. I know he's grieving, we both are, and I know he prefers to do it alone, or like that, but I hate feeling like I've both lost are, and I know he prefers to do it alone, or like that, but I hate feeling like I've lost both my dad and my mom since her death. It sucks. A lot. Second, Laney and Martin had a fight last night, and I worry it was about me. I could hear them in their bedroom trying to keep it down, but words seeped out from beneath the closed door. Things like months, how much longer, why, and it's not like I'd trying to keep it down, but words seeped out from beneath the closed door. Trying to keep it down, but words seeped out from beneath the closed door. Things like months, how much longer, why, and it's not that I don't love him too, but... So yeah, it must be about me. And I really do need to get the fuck off of my cousin's sofa and figure out my life, but where can I go? Rents are insane around here. I don't make a lot of money. Dad doesn't have any to give since the chemical companies shut their doors and left West Virginia in a lurch. It's not like I can ask him for a loan when he doesn't even respond when I ask for a phone call. But I hate that my presence is probably causing them stress. It's almost time for the sex, Bob. But I hate that my presence is probably causing them stress. but I hate that my presence is probably causing them stress. Third, Pete is on my ass at the coffee shop because I asked him to rearrange the schedule around my work at the preschool again, and you'd have thought I'd asked him to cut his dick off and let me eat it for breakfast, because he was seriously uncool about the whole thing. And then there's Dan. He texted me about Friday, and I haven't replied, mainly because I don't know what to say. If I say yes, then we're going to fuck, and it's going to be amazing, and I'll want to do it again and again. But someday down the road, whether we're still fucking or not, someone's going to say, "Did you hear about that climber that died?" And it's going to be Dan. Did you hear about that climber that died? And it's going to be Dan. And I'm going to have to live with the knowledge that someone I've had sex with, that I've had inside my body and come for and with, some for and with. And I'm going to have to live with the knowledge that someone I've had sex with, and I'm going to have to live with the knowledge that someone I've had sex with, that I've had inside my body and come for and with, someone I think I might care about way more than I should after just 2 hookups, died doing something I don't even understand. I just don't know how to feel about that. But right now, I do know how to feel about Leanie, but more specifically,
How I feel about Leanie?
understand. I just don't know how to feel about that. But right now, I do know how I feel about Leanie, but more specifically, Jeremiah and Sari Kate. And Sari, really? Understand. I just don't know how to feel about that. But right now, I do know how I feel about Leanie, but more specifically, Jeremiah and Sari Kate. Okay, I can't do this. This is just gross. I understand. I just don't know how to feel about that. Oh, fuck you, Bob. Put your fucking tongue back in your pants, all right? Understand. I just don't know how to feel about that. But right now, I do know how I feel about Leanie, but more specifically, Jeremiah and Sari. Why? Sari Kate, why? Understand. I'm still distracted by his tongue. It's so long. I mean, you should
What
be.
are you even talking about?
It's so long, his tongue. It just comes out as. You ever seen V? Like, it's just like. Ah.
Yes, I have seen V. I loved V, and you're just talking out your ass, so keep
Lizards,
reading.
just like that. Yeah, I'm sorry, Brooke. Tracy, I arranged it as you requested so that I'm no longer recording your face, but at the same time, that makes it so Discord cannot see you. Eventually, the solution to all of this is to put you back in Discord instead of the Google Meet thing, but I'm not doing that today. But that would also allow you to hear all the stuff that I play on the side, too. Yeah, it is like Venom. Understand. I just don't know how to feel about that.
Oh,
But, huh?
no, I just noticed that it wasn't there today.
I know,
My
I
little.
fixed it. You
I
requested
hadn't
that.
said a word.
You requested it like 3 months ago, and I was like, I'll fix it, and I never did.
God.
So I fixed it this morning. Sometimes look, I'm a man. Sometimes I take a while, but I get it done. Understand. I just don't know how to feel about that. But right now, I do know how I feel about Leanie, but more specifically, Jeremiah and Sarah Kate crashing out in the comfy corner of the coffee shop, settling in, screaming for me constantly, asking for multiple free refills, and Leanie asking me to watch Jeremiah while she changes Sarah Kate's diaper. All of them are basically treating Papa Bear like they're home away from home when I'm already in deep crap with Pete. Normally the guy's indulgent of his employees' families, but today he's short-tempered and has it out for me. If Leanie wants me off her sofa anytime soon, she really needs to pack up and go. But I'm not sure how to explain that without Pete overhearing, and the door chime rings. I look up, expecting a new influx of folks given. That without Pete overhearing, and the door chime rings. I look up, expecting a new influx of folks, given that it's almost lunchtime, so I'm surprised to see just one customer. My stomach drops and I go a little lightheaded as our eyes meet. Dan. He looks good, too, wearing worn jeans that hang on his narrow hips, a T-shirt stretched tight across his chest muscles, and snug-capped sleeves that show off how wiry his arms are. He's all, so lean and sexy, with his big, wide eyes staring right at me, full of questions and intensity. His big, wide eyes staring right at me, full of questions and intensity. I'm instantly aware of my skin in an acute way that's hard to explain, like I'm tingling with effervescent bubbles of anxiety and attraction popping all over the surface of me at once. It's weirdly hard to breathe. I swallow as Dan approaches the counter. "Small hot apple cider," he says, not taking his eyes off me as he hands over his debit card. "And a few minutes of your time." "Look," I say as I begin to make the drink. "It's pretty easy. Some apple cider, some steam, whipped cream, and voila. I'm at work, and I can't really talk." Dan takes the cup from my extended hand. "When's your break?" "He doesn't get one today. He was late," Pete says, bustling up next to me, his grizzled voice rising with irritation. I want to confirm, but I'm 90% sure. Pete, when the sunlight strikes... Yep. Bustling up next to me, his grizzled voice rising with irritation. "All right. I'll wait until your shift is over," Dan says, going to sit at a table by the window and bringing out a worn journal and a pencil. He begins marking inside of it. "That guy bugging you?" Pete asks warily. "Because I can handle him if you want." "No, he's fine. I kind of owe him a conversation, I guess." I don't owe him anything, really, but I don't feel right not giving him an explanation about why I'm going to cancel on him for Friday night. Pete groans. "Drama, kid. Guys like him, they're drama." "No." Not giving him an explanation about why I'm going to cancel on him for Friday night. Pete groans. "Drama, kid. Guys like him, they're drama." I don't know if he means because Dan's a climber, evident by his build and the remnants of chalk on his fingers, or if he means because Dan has shown up at my workplace to talk and is gonna just wait. And isn't that a little stalkerish? Should I be worried? I don't know. I feel like I should talk with him, though. He's not being a disturbance, at least, unlike the other people who came here to see me. At just that moment, Jeremiah starts to sing the alphabet song at the top of his lungs, and Sarah Kate starts wailing like a banshee, and Leanie calls out, "Sedgen, can we get more apple slices?" Pete grumbles. "Does she think I opened this place to feed her kids?" But he slaps an apple onto the cutting board, and next thing I know, he's handing me a plate with apple slices on it. Dan hasn't budged, and doesn't look like he's going to, and I don't actually know what I'm supposed to say or do. I know it was late. He's going to, and I don't actually know what I'm supposed to say or do. I know I was late, I say, but, I trail off. Could I please just take a minute to talk to him? Pete looks up from where he's cutting almond butter and strawberry sandwiches into halves to put out for the to-go sales cooler and glances at Dan by the window. "For fuck's sake, kid, get your life together and get it out of this coffee shop." He looks at his wristwatch. "I'll give you 10 minutes. He glances at Dan again and then over at Leanie. "No, 25 ought to do it, all right? But never say I'm hard on you. After today," he rolls his eyes, "I'm a goddamn pushover is what I am." I'm never going to agree he's a pushover, but this is definitely kinder than I expected. I take the apples over to Leanie and manage not to let her pull me into a conversation. Instead, I say, "Listen, Leanie, I heard there's going to be a free acrobatics show from that traveling troupe over in El Caps Meadow this afternoon. If y'all leave now, you can make it in time." "Over in El Caps Meadow this afternoon. If y'all leave now, you can make it in time." Her eyes light up, and I know I made the right call. She can get the kids out in the fresh air, let Jeremiah run around, and entertain them with a spectacle. I should have thought to mention it sooner, but I'd been too distracted by my runaway brain. She starts to pack up immediately. Jeremiah grabs my leg. "Sejani, come with us." Jeremiah grabs my leg. "Sejani, come with us." "I can't, buddy," I say, dropping to a crouch next to him. He shifts his hold to my neck. "I have to work." I kiss his sweet cheek and rub our noses together. "But I'll see you at home tonight, okay? And we'll have a game of Candyland while Mommy has a bubble bath." "Yeah?" Leanie's eyes meet mine. "Yeah. I'm holding you to that, Sejin," she says. "I'd kill for an hour alone in the bath." "I know." I escort them out the door of the place like it's my home or something, and after helping get Sarah Kate into her car seat and waving them off, I head back inside to face Dan. Her car seat and waving them off, I head back inside to face Dan. My palms are itchy and my tongue is dry. I decide to put it off by grabbing a glass of water for myself first, downing it quickly, and then headed into the back. Put it off by grabbing a glass of water for myself first, downing it quickly, and then headed into the back to check my hair and face. Pete sticks his head in, sees me brushing my hair before putting it up again, and snorts. "As bad as Chelly," he mutters, and then leaves me to it. When I finally get the courage to go break it to Dan that I'm not going to suck his dick this weekend or fuck his ass, or let him fuck me, whoa, whoa indeed. Whoa or woe-ee?
Whoa, like woe is me.
I think you're just about right, Brooke. "As bad as Chelly," he mutters, and then leaves me to it. When I finally get the courage to go break it to Dan that I'm not going to suck his suck. "As bad as Chelly," he mutters, and then leaves me to it. When I finally get the courage to go break it to Dan that I'm not going to suck his dick this weekend or fuck his ass or let him fuck me, whoa, whoa indeed. I look a lot calmer on the outside than I feel on the inside. I'm not doing that naturally. It didn't sound natural. "As bad as Chelly," he mutters, and then leaves me to it. When I finally get the courage to go break it to Dan that I'm not going to suck his dick this weekend or fuck his ass or let him fuck me, whoa, whoa indeed. I look a lot calmer on the outside than I feel on the inside. My stomach is nodding, my heart is beating harder than necessary, and my dick is traitorously buzzing with a rush of blood, like I might get a half chub just sitting down across from Dan. Like I might get a half chub just sitting down across from Dan. I take a deep breath and watch as he closes his journal and puts it away in his small backpack. "Hi," I say. "I'm sorry I left you hanging about our plans for Friday." "It's all right. Most guys eventually leave me hanging." I swallow. "I guess you want to know why?" "Actually, Doc, I was mainly just hoping I was wrong. Or if I wasn't wrong, that I could find a way to change your mind." "Well, maybe I want to tell you why." "I didn't violate your consent or boundaries, did I?" he asks, sitting up a little straighter, concern lacing into his deep voice. "No, of course not." "Good," he says, relief washing over his features. "I'm not always great at reading people, and I try to always keep things really clear, even when it's—" He licks his lips. They glisten and capture my attention. I remember how nice his mouth is when applied to certain sensitive places on my body, and I shift in my seat. To certain sensitive places on my body, and I shift in my seat. Even when it's intense. "No, you never crossed any lines with me. Not sexually, anyway." "Oh?" "I crossed lines another way." He frowns. "I've been known to do that. Say the wrong thing. Accidentally be a dick. It's not what you said, or that you're kind of a dick. He laughs, and my heart stumbles over the wide spread of his mouth gleaming across the bottom of his face. Christ, he's handsome. And my body really wants to respond to him the way it has the times we've been together before. But the worrying part is that my heart wants to respond too. His smile is endearing and special, and I can easily get used to it and start to want it every day. So, what is it then? He sounds genuinely curious and not at all defensive. An open mind waiting to hear his crime. I didn't even know I might have a boundary like this, but, I clear my throat and pick at my thumbnail nervously. I'm not judging you. I know we were just hooking up, and that's all it was ever supposed to be, but I meet his steady gaze and feel something inside me unlock. Words spill out. I heard some other climbers talking about you, saying you're planning on what did they call it? But going up El Cap without ropes. Free soloing. Dan says calmly, like I haven't just said that folks are saying he's on a suicide mission. No denial. No wince. Yeah, that you're going to free solo El Cap. He's on a suicide mission. No denial. No wince. He's on a suicide mission. No denial. No wince. Yeah, that you're going to free solo El Cap. He nods, and his expression doesn't change much. That bothers you? Yeah, it does. I tug my hair out of the ponytail restlessly and let the cool cascade of it hide my face a little as I go on. Maybe it shouldn't. I mean, we're just fucking, right? Dan shrugs. We don't have to just fuck. My throat clicks as I swallow again. I wish I'd thought to bring another glass of water to the table with me. I could use a sip right now. You'd want to move past just hooking up? If you do, sure. Do you want to? It's tempting. Horribly tempting. I don't know. I mean, that might make it worse. How? Look, these climbers that were gossiping about your plans, they didn't seem to think... How am I supposed to say this to his face? They thought you might fall. This to his face. They thought you might fall. Stop. I hate it when it does that. I don't know what the fucking button is that I hit that flips it the fuck out, but sometimes the PDF just starts scrolling like 1,000,000 miles an hour. It's very annoying.
It's not your middle scroll wheel or something that you're hitting, right?
No, although, I mean, I am scrolling. I think that I'm hitting like the Alt button or something like that at the same time, and it pulls up this little blue icon in the middle of the PDF, and it's like, whee! It's like playing Wheel of Fortune or something. They thought you might fall. This to his face. They thought you might fall. Ah, of course they think that. Dan sits back and kicks his legs out to the side, crossing them at the ankle. He looks pretty smug for a guy who's in the midst of being rejected. You don't agree? I wouldn't be training to do it if I believed a fall was inevitable, would I? I'm not suicidal. People just want to believe anything they are too afraid to try is impossible. But it's not like you can't fall, I say. It's just not something I worry about. I don't consider it the most likely outcome. Yeah, but you did fall just the other day, didn't you? I put Bactine on your scrapes, remember? And then we'd fucked like animals. I feel dizzy again remembering it. Dan tilts his head, the scrape of his cheek still. And then we'd fucked like animals. I feel dizzy again remembering it. Dan tilts his head, the scrape on his cheek still red and evident. Look, Doc. Dan tilts his head. the scrape on his cheek still red and evident. "Look, Doc." "Look what?" I was about to say something, but that always pisses Rye off when I say it, so I guess I shouldn't. That's not very reassuring. You're right, I'll go ahead. Say it, so I guess I shouldn't. That's not very reassuring. You're right. I'll go ahead, but keep in mind I've never had people care if I die or not, and so I don't really get it. Falling isn't something that scares me. Had people care if I die or not, and so I don't really get it. Falling isn't something that scares me. I blink, trying to understand. What does that mean? No one gives a shit about me and I'm used to that? I give a shit about you. Oh. He lets out a slow breath and meets my eyes. Do you? Well, yeah. That's the reason why I don't know if we can hook up again. I don't want to care about you more and have it end. I feel sick. Like that. Huh. He tilts his head again, thinking. Huh, what? Having people care whether I live or... He tilts his head again, thinking. Huh, what? Having people care whether I live or not is weird. Weird? It's weird to care whether the guy who makes you come like the world is ending and then being reborn out your ass lives or dies? Okay, more like different. And it's not like I'll definitely die. Just likely. He shakes his head. I won't do it if I think it's likely either. He smirks again. But back to what you said before. Okay. He leans forward. You came so hard the world was reborn out your ass? I fucked you that good? I roll my eyes. Men, they're all the same. Even me. You know you did. Well... He shrugs again, leaning back and settling in with his feet out and crossed. His smug expression doesn't fade. I knew that, yeah. Which is why I was so confused about why you were ghosting me. Now you understand. I understand that you and I have the same fear, yes, he says solemnly, of getting attached. Right. I admit, I almost let you walk away. I don't see many benefits in attachment either, but I've thought a lot about it the last few days, and I think we should risk it. Because the sex is so good? Yes, but also... Sex is so good? Yes, but also... He scrubs a hand through his hair and then leans forward, elbows on the table. Actually, no. Let's take sex out of the equation. I scoff. How? We're literally hookups. We're not even friends. If we take it out of the equation, what do we have? Nothing. Exactly. And that's perfect. You've completely lost me. Stay with me now, he says, tapping his palms on the table. I've had two goals ever since I saw your profile on that hideous app. He puts up two fingers. Morning, Anya. I've had two goals ever since I saw your profile on that hideous app. He puts up two fingers. To fuck your brains out. Did that. He puts one finger down. To see you smile at me the way you're smiling in your profile picture. I blink at him, baffled. I've already smiled at you? I mean, plenty of times. I just smiled at you earlier when I sat down. It wasn't the right smile. I'm not sure if he's a stalker, a freak, or an adorable weirdo. Inside, I'm feeling the urge to run, to laugh, and to throttle him all at once. Maybe kiss him, too. What's the right smile? The one where your nose crinkles up and your eyes go kind of half moon-shaped and they shine and twinkle and... He pulls out his phone. Let's be a bit more animated with that. Well, yeah, it's the same accent. What's the right smile? What's the right smile? The one where your nose crinkles up and your eyes go kind of half moon-shaped and they shine and twinkle, and he pulls out his phone, taps a few things, and then shows me my own profile on the Hookup app. This one. I snort. Weird, but okay. I mean, not okay. I plan to spend time with you until you achieve this bizarre goal, no matter the cost to my own mental health should you plummet off a wall later, but okay. I'm still listening, even though I shouldn't be. I figure there's no way around the fact that life is short, and yet you're aiming to shorten it even more. Life's short, even taking my goals out of the equation. Dan sees my eye roll coming and puts his hands out. No, wait. I know what those other climbers...
Puts his hand out.
Life's short, even taking my goals out of the equation. Life's short, even taking my goals out of the equation. Dan sees my eye roll coming and puts his hand out. No, wait. I know what those other climbers said got under your skin. They filled your head with all kinds of visions, right? It didn't. Under your skin. They filled your head with all kinds of visions, right? It didn't take much, I confess. My mom died a little over 1.5 years ago, and I don't have room for more death in my life right now. I'm not going to die. You can't promise that, right? And neither can you. You could walk out that door right now and get smashed by a runaway semi-truck. Boom! You never fucked me again. And how sad is that? I thought sex was off the table for this discussion. Fine. How sad is that? I thought sex was off the table for this discussion. Fine. You never smiled at me like this. He shows me the phone with my stupidly happy face on it once more. And what an eternal fucking loss for me. Right? But the chances are a lot less. Chances are all we've got. Something about that sentence, issued from his handsome mouth with such finality, hits me right in the chest. It's like a boot kick that knocks my breath away. The light from the window shimmers around him, highlighting his brown curly hair and the fuzz on his jawline. I'm mesmerized by his big eyes. They're almost hypnotic as he gazes at me, certainly roaring out of them. His big eyes. They're almost hypnotic as he gazes at me, certainty roaring out of them like a physical thing that also shakes me deeply. "Kid!" Pete yells from behind the counter. "Time's almost up." Fuck you, people calling me. Who the hell uses a telephone anyways? Physical thing that also shakes me deeply. "Kid!" Pete yells from behind the counter. "Time's almost up. Got that personal life cleaned up yet?" He'd said I had 25 minutes, and it's definitely been less than that. But a glance out the window at the bus of tourists that has just rolled up tells me my time with Dan today is over. "Why do you want to see me again?" I ask. The real reason. I feel like I need to see this smile. He taps the phone again. I feel like I'll regret it for the rest of my life, no matter how short or long that is, if I don't. I smile at him. "There. Now you've had it. Your eyes aren't glowing." I huff and cross my arms over my chest. "You're a real dick, you know that?" "So I've been told." I ponder that. Dan seems resigned to being considered an asshole. Interesting, and kind of sad. "Kid!" Pete calls again. Don't put pressure on Anya. She can't do it. And kind of sad. "Kid!" Pete, dun. And kind of sad. "Kid!" Pete calls again. Scooting back. Well, everything's possible in Jesus Christ. And kind of sad. Kid! Pete calls again. Scooting back from the table, I rise. I have to get back to work. I can't give you an answer right now. I'll text you later, okay? Promise? I can do anything better than... I can't give you an answer right now. I'll text you later, okay? Promise? He sounds so young then, and he looks it too. Far too young to die. I promise, I say, putting my hair back up in the ponytail for work. He watches me keenly, and then says, I love your hair, Doc. Thanks. I shift awkwardly, not sure how to break free from him. I want to say something more, something normal or funny or soothing. I don't even know if I want to soothe him or myself. Instead, I smile again. Later, Dan. Later, he agrees. By the time I've helped Pete with the influx of tourists, Dan has left the building. Again, I don't know how I feel about that. Relieved, I guess? At the same time, I'm confused now in a way I wasn't before. I could use some advice, and it takes me a few hours to decide who to ask for it. I have a lot of friends, but not a ton of them are people who have the kind of life experience I need, or who care about me for my own sake, or should. Life experience, and it takes me a few hours to decide who to ask for it. I have a lot of friends, but not a ton of them are people who have the kind of life experience I need, or who care about me for my own sake. For my own sake. And it takes me a few hours to decide who to ask for it. I have a lot of friends, but not a ton of them are people who have the kind of life experience I need, or who care about me for my own sake, or should. After my shift is over, I get in my car and drive to my favorite lookout point and park. With the vision of El Capitan looming ahead of me, I take a deep breath and pull out my phone. And I call my dad. So, Anya, how many push-ups can you do? I was trying to think of things I can do better than her, and it's not an easy list. But I know I can do that. Good job, Brooke. It's all a lie. They're tricking you. Call my dad. Dan. Peggy Joe's house is nestled at the back of a dead-end road. Its main feature is a giant window at the rear that shows off a view of snow-capped mountains and evergreens. Otherwise, it's a fairly normal house. One story with the bedroom, office, kitchen, laundry, and living area laid out nicely. One story with the bedroom, office, kitchen, laundry, and living area laid out nicely. But my favorite thing about it is her bathroom, which is blessed with extraordinary water pressure. Waterfalls beat the campground shower block any day, but Peggy Joe's bathroom is luxurious and is a... Her bathroom, which is blessed with extraordinary water pressure. Extraordinary. One story with the bedroom, office, kitchen, laundry, and living area laid out nicely. But my favorite thing about it is her bathroom, which is blessed with extraordinary water pressure. Waterfalls beat the campground shower block any day, but Peggy Joe's bathroom is a luxurious indulgence by my standards. Peggy Joe's bathroom is a nice. I want one. I want that. Peggy Joe's bathroom is a luxurious indulgence by my standards. One I'm definitely going to treat myself to before I leave for the campground again. But right now, I'm on Peggy Joe's front porch, sipping lemonade and listening to country music jangling out over the outdoor speakers she had installed last year. She can tell I'm worrying over something, but she's got her own reasons for having asked me to come over. and so she's getting that out of the way first. That's what it's all about, for having asked me to come over, and so she's getting that out of the way first. Bella is pregnant, she says, kicking her feet up onto a wicker ottoman and leaning back in her favorite cushioned porch chair. Oh? Bella's not married as far as I know. I mean, I don't always pay attention when Peggy Jo talks about her daughter, but I think I would have caught it if Bella had gotten married. That's pretty big news. Like pregnancy. On purpose? Peggy Jo snorts. I don't... Suddenly I'm Lissa again. On purpose? Peggy Jo snorts. I don't rightly know, to be honest. But the fact of the matter is, she's pregnant, and she's having the baby sometime in October. She wants me to be there with her. And she's just now telling you about it? No, I've known. But I was hoping I could convince her to come stay with me here for the duration of it. She declined. She's happy with her doctors there and wants to bring the baby home to her little house in Georgia. But with the timing... She touches my hand. I hate to be away when you make your ascent. Ah, the implications of that statement hit me immediately. I planned a free solo heart route in late October or early November, and going to Georgia to help with Bella's new baby means Peggy Jo won't be around to support me in the lead up to that. Don't worry about it, it's fine. It's all good. And it is. The fewer people around caring too much about the outcome of my climb, the better. If Sejin decides to stick around and do some caring in my direction, and I really hope he does, which is super weird in and of itself, then having Peggy Jo go on for the big event will be a load-off. I can only take so much worry directed at me. Rai, Lowell, Peggy Jo, and maybe Sejin. That's a lot. How can I fly up the rock with all that extra weight? I feel mighty torn about it, she says. For a lot of reasons. Don't be. Of course you'll want to be there when a screaming new life... She says. For a lot of reasons. Don't be. Of course you'll want to be there when a screaming new life comes into the world. You're right, I do. I want to meet my grandbaby as soon as they arrive. But I don't want to miss your feet either. You've worked so hard for this for so long. I feel like I might just be the only person on Earth who really knows all the preparation and effort you've put in to send this route. Crazy as I think this particular goal is, Dan, when you step over the lip, triumphant, ready to tell me and everyone else I told you so, I want to be there to hold you. I smile into my lemonade. A woodpecker swoops close and then up over the roof of the house. I don't need to be held, Peggy Jo. I know you don't think you need it, but you do. A cat meows from within the house, and Peggy Jo sighs, standing up to let it out. I can't remember if this one is Romeo or Julio, or Julio. A cat meows from within the house, and Peggy Jo sighs, standing up to let it out. A cat meows from within the house, and Peggy Jo sighs, standing up. I thought you got the same ones. A cat meows from within the house, and Peggy Jo sighs, standing up to let it out. I can't remember if this one is Romeo or Julio, or maybe it's Muggs. Peggy Jo has 3 cats. They all hate me, and I can't tell any of them apart. There's some mixture of orange and black and white, but damned if I know which one has the white patch by its tail, which one has it by its eye, and which one has no white patches but just streaks. Well, that means you've seen aliens. It by its eye, and which one has no white patches but just streaks. The cat steps daintily through the pebbles by the front porch, going around to the side garden where it disappears into a thicket. Don't worry, he'll be back, Peggy Jo says. I say, rather than announce my complete lack of worry about the cat. Whichever one he is, he'll be fine. Those cats are terrors, and I have the scars to prove it. But unfortunately, I can't be 2 places at once, Peggy Jo says, continuing with her line of thought. unfortunately, I can't be two places at once," Peggy Jo says, continuing with her line of thought regarding Bella's baby and my free solo of Heart Route. "And as much as I consider you a son, you need to be with Bella," I say. "Don't apologize. I don't want you here for it. You know I wouldn't have even told you before I went and did it anyway. I'll go when I'm ready, and when no one knows." Peggy Jo stares at me, and I don't dare look at her face. I don't want to see if my words have hurt her, made her angry, or worse, made her sad. A few birds chirp. The cat comes creeping back around the side of the house, looking both guilty and defiant as he shifts his way over the pebbles to settle in the sun. Guilty and defiant as he shifts his way over the pebbles to settle in the sun. "I have one last problem," Peggy Jo says, "before we can talk about yours." "I don't have anything to talk about," I deny. "Mm-hmm. Well, whatever you say, but I figure it'll come out sooner or later. First, though, let's stick with me." "Happy to." "The house and the cats," she says. "I can't leave the cats with the boarder for 2 or 3 whole months, and Grady Hauser, my neighbor, who usually takes care of them when I travel for long periods, is wintering in Australia this year, the lucky bastard, and leaves a few days before I do." "So, I was wondering if you would stay here with them. It'll help with your money problems, too. I'd pay for you cat sitting, and you could stay here for free."
Stop. I'd pay you.
"I know you would. Wondering if you would stay here with them. It'll help with your money problems, too. I'd pay you for cat sitting, and you could stay here for free. Remember what Henry said about your funds? A year max? This could really help with that." I don't like the idea of living this far out from El Cap, but it's true that my biggest expense by far is the camping slot. I could get my money reimbursed for the weeks I don't use. I feel strangely superstitious, though, about the idea of living in a house like this when I'm training for the biggest climb of my life. I mean, maybe it's silly, but it feels too soft. Like if I were to live here instead of in my camper, I'd lose focus, become a couch potato, and do nothing but watch television all day. I can already hear her counter-arguments. I'll rest better in a real bed, and that alone will make my training more efficient. That alone. Lose focus, become a couch potato, and do nothing but watch television all day. I can already hear her counter-arguments. I'll rest better in a real bed, and that alone will make my training more efficient and help me retain the strength I've earned. But still I resist. I have an idea, though, of who might want to stay here in exchange for feeding the cats. Rye's in a living situation that prevents him from having even partial custody of Jeannie, and so he might be interested in a house-sitting gig, even if it's only temporary. Maybe Andrew would be more likely to... And so he might be interested in a house-sitting gig, even if it's only temporary. Maybe Andrew would be more likely to let Jeannie spend the night with her mom. And so he might be interested in a house-sitting gig, even if it's only temporary. Maybe Andrew would be more likely to let Jeannie spend the night with her mommy from time to time if he was out of the tent. So long as it benefited Andrew, of course. I decide not to say anything about that, though, until I've felt Rye out on the situation. People too often don't react the way I expect them to, and then I'm left looking like even more of a jerk. "I don't need a commitment right now," Peggy Jo says, reading my expression in that way only she seems good at. "But I'll need one soon. I need to make some kind of plan. I'd rather help you out than someone else, but I need to know whoever is... But I'll need one soon. I need to make some kind of plan. I'd rather help you out than someone else, but I need to know whoever is watching the cats is reliable." "The cats hate me," I point out. "They don't need to love you, but after you feed them for a few weeks, they sure will." Ha! That's the last we talk of it for now. I know I'll have to give her an answer or counter-solution soon, but I'm relieved she doesn't try to pressure me. That's one thing Peggy Jo rarely does, and probably one of the main reasons we've stayed friends. "So, tell me what's bugging you," she says. My nose wrinkles. I'd rather not. She gets up, goes inside, and comes back out with a bowl of chips and another cat on her heels. This one has the white spot on its nose. She calls it Julio as the door falls shut behind her, telling him to watch his tail. He darts out just before the door slams. So that's one cat identified, 2 to go. I like a guy, I say. So that's one cat identified, 2 to go. I like a guy, I say. She sighs in satisfaction, like she's known the whole time I was going to spill. I'd kind of known it too, but I like to make things hard if I can. I mean, why give anyone the idea that I need them or whatever? Because I don't. It's just, I don't get people, and I don't get what's going on with me and Sedgen. And Peggy Jo's smart. She's good with people, and might have some insight that'll help me understand. I don't think it's a wise idea for me to keep seeing him. But now that he thinks maybe it's not a wise idea to keep seeing me, I'm trying to talk him into staying. I sip the lemonade, watch Julio collapse next to cat number 1 in the sunshine, and then say, Why? You don't like to lose? No, I don't. Why? You don't like to lose? No, I don't normally care that much when a guy or girl moves on. So it's this particular guy, then? Yeah. I let silence fall for a few moments. Let's do a more exasperated. Girl moves on. So it's this particular guy, then? Yeah. I let silence fall for a few moments, watching as a moth flaps near the cats. Julio bats at it before it flies off and away from danger. Neither cat chases it. See? That's what I should do. Not try to get Sedgen to fly back to me. We've hooked up twice. I've talked to him 2, maybe 3 times outside of those encounters. 2, maybe 3 times outside of those encounters. That's what I should do. Not try to get Sedgen to fly back to... That's what I thought. Neither cat chases it. See? That's what I should do. Right there. From C. Bats at it before it flies off and away from danger. Neither cat chases it. See? That's what I should do. Not try to get Sedgen to fly back to me. We've hooked up twice. I've talked to him 2, maybe 3 times outside of those encounters. I should be willing to let him walk. Why don't you, then? Here. I dig my phone out of my back pocket and pull up Sedgen's profile on the Hookup app. Hookup app. Why don't you, then? Here. I dig my phone out of my back pocket and pull up Sedgen's profile on the Hookup app. I enlarge the photo and hold it out for Peggy Jo to see. She takes the phone, holds it out from her face, and squints a little before her eyes adjust. Then she smiles. Oh, it's Sedgen. You know him? Of course. Everyone knows Sedgen. I didn't know him. She says nothing else but hands me back the phone. Suddenly I need to know. Do you like him? There's not a soul alive who wouldn't like Sedgen. Well, that smile, the one in the photo, I really like it. He's adorable. Yeah, he's always good looking, but there's something about that smile. I frown. I think this probably sounds creepy. When I told him about it, he looked a little weirded out. Enough for you to notice? Oh, Lordy. What exactly did you say? Probably sounds creepy. When I told him about it, he looked a little weirded out. Enough for you to notice? Oh, Lordy, what exactly did you? Probably sounds
Damn
creepy.
you.
When I told him about it, he looked a little weirded out. Enough for you to notice? Oh, Lordy, what exactly did you say? I told him that I want him to smile at me like that, and he hasn't yet. I told him I want to hang out with him and be around him a lot until I earn that kind of smile. He's never smiled at you. I can't imagine that. The boy's a smiling machine. No, he's smiled at me a few times, but never. I bring up the photo again and thrust it at her. Never like that. She studies the photo. Never like he's looking at someone he loves. It's a kick to the chest. I sit back in my chair, cold, a little stunned. Holy shit, is that what the expression on his face is? Love? I don't want that. Do I? Being loved is. Well, I don't know what it is. I haven't experienced it much. The closest thing I have to a person who loves me is Peggy Jo. I've always said I don't need love, I don't want it, and all it does is hold people down, keep them back, tether them. A cloud shifts over the sun, and a corresponding shadow passes over the cats. A cloud shifts over the sun, and a corresponding shadow passes over the cats. Coolness falls on the front porch, and a strange despair drops on me. I'll never make Sejin love me, and so I'll never see that smile directed at me. I've wanted to see it in person from the beginning, and then I wanted it all for myself. And if Peggy Jo is right about what that smile means, then I can't ever have it. I hate not having what I want, because I'm always so careful to make sure what I want is something I can accomplish all on my own. I've made a huge blunder with Sejin and his smile. I've made the mistake of coveting something I can't give myself. "What's wrong?" she asks. "You look like I shot your dog." "I don't know what to do now," I say. "I thought if I could just get this smile from him it'd be enough, but—" Peggy Jo stares at me. "It's okay to want to be loved, Dan. You deserve to be loved." I don't reply. Love's a foreign thing, a mystery I'll never solve. I still want to see Sejin's most beautiful smile directed at me, no matter what the cost. I still want to see Sejin's most beautiful smile directed at me, no matter what the cost. It's worth trying for. I know it is. I want it almost as much as I want to free solo Heart Route. And that makes no sense at all. Not a lick of it. Free solo Heart Route. And that makes no sense at all. Not a lick of it, as Peggy Jo says. No, not even a lick of sense.